Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Gw2. I am amongst the Grawl right now, they haven't seen me. I was going to start today's episode, yeah, I'm dropping the whispering straight away. I was going to start it up at the toppled wall, because this is where we were before in the personal story. However, on the way there was something kind of cool that I never showed us before. Oh, somebody saved me, yay. This massive thing here. There's a big statue here. Guild Wars 1 players may recognise this. This is one of those cool moments you get out in Ascalon. I mentioned a few episodes ago that this was one of my favourite areas, simply because you see so many things here that are recognisable from the first game. Well, this is one of the main ones. This was a big statue of Balthazar. In Guild Wars 1, one of the human gods that is, in Guild Wars 1, this sword was on fire and it looked very impressive. And it's still here in Guild Wars 2. It's one of those things that allows you to know exactly where you're stood. So, currently, we're in... After you escape from what was known as pre-searing Ascalon, you come out into like the main world, if you will, and the first like explorable area, I guess, in that main world was an area called Old Ascalon, and this is kind of where we're stood right now in Old Ascalon. This was the thing you could look at, and even in Guild Wars 2 there's a plaque here that you can read. That isn't written in New Crichton, but there is this plaque here, or is it? I swear, this LP is just going to be full of me looking at things and going, is that New Crichton? That's definitely not. It's too low res anyway. But you can read the plaque. It says, this ancient plaque has an engraving on it. Balthazar, god of war and fire, worshipped by those seeking strength before battle. So, and then someone has which was something you could read, I guess, in Guild Wars 1. And someone has crudely carved the word Badazar over and over and over again. That being the Grawl that seem to have taken this as worship. The Grawl are an interesting race. I didn't empty my inventory. We'll have to do that. We have to do that. Okay, hold on with it. I know where the nearest merchant is as well. We'll be okay. Yeah, so the Grawl are a kind of curious race in that they don't all have like one unified religion, as it were, or anything. In fact, they'll fight against one another like quite often. They split into tribes and just find general stuff in the area to worship. And in fact, we'll see later on in the game there is some not very nice people trying to take advantage of that. Let's just say that much. There's another thing here as well. The Shards of War. This is called. And this actually is looking at a giant crystal that's here in the landscape. So this is probably... I've got to stop putting stuff off. This is probably a good time to talk to you guys about... Oh yeah, I forgot we had our greatsword. Did you have to knock me over just as I was going to use my awesome skill? Really? There's a veteran earth elemental. So the landscape isn't just dotted with ghosts and kind of scary stuff there. It doesn't just have this giant brand in it. It doesn't have just a giant toppled wall in it. It also has massive crystals that are kind of dotting the landscape all over the place as well, like nowhere near the brand. Now the brand is essentially made of crystal, and there's reason to believe that the crystal we're stood next to right now, amongst the many other crystals just like this out in the Ascalon areas, is from the same thing. It's somehow tied to the dragon that cast the brand across Ascalon, but that's just a theory. But yeah, there's all these giant crystals around here too. Look at that, the ghosts are fighting the elementals. That's really cool, actually. I didn't realise they fought one another like that. And the elemental wins out. It's so powerful, Jesus. Veterans usually don't take this long. Maybe it's just because I'm playing as a bit of a crappy warrior at the moment and I'm not fully spec'd. So you get these crystals as well, right? Stop pressing F. You're not going to be able to pick anything out. And these come from a long time ago when the Char finally broke through and they began their invasion and actually broke through this wall. See, what the Flame Legion had done is they'd found power in some other gods, or what they thought were gods, and these creatures, they were called the Titans, actually gave the Flame Legion a really powerful artifact, something called a Cauldron of Cataclysm. Now in Guild Wars 1 we were kind of led to believe that there was only one of these artifacts, but actually it seems in Guild Wars 2 there were many of them. Now the Titans, somehow, the Titans being related to one of the human gods in fact, the Titans had got their hands on it and in fact then given it to the Char, who had found it through the Titans. And the Char stood about... Hold on, let me get my bearings. So if that's Ascalon City, that's Rin. It would be about here, I guess. The Char, 250 years ago, stood about here. And they cast a ritual around this cauldron. 4 of their like powerful Char generals did, Flame Legion guys. And by doing this, they destroyed in a massive circle all around Ascalon pretty much the entire landscape. They devastated it. They killed all the plant life that was there. They turned water into tar. And the way they did this was when they cast this magic, tons of these giant crystals, which were on fire at the time, came flying through the sky, everything blackened over, and just destroyed and pounded loads of cities and the wall itself. And when they did this, the Char took advantage. The Flame Legion and I guess the other legions at the same time decided, right, okay, now we can invade. We've destroyed tons of their defenses. The humans weren't expecting it at all. This was how the Char began to attack again after many years of not attacking at all. So all of the cities and things, the capital that was out in the north, all got destroyed, and because they didn't have what little protection the wall that could then offer, because they didn't even have that, they just got absolutely ambushed and destroyed, and the war once again began, which the Char slowly won over the following 250 years. So not only will you see all this kind of crazy stuff going on in Ascalon, but you also see tons of these crystals around, and they're remnants of what was known as the Searing. The Searing, really the veterans respawned already? That's bullshit. I'm just going to read the plaque. This weathered plaque appears to describe the crystals in front of you. Oh, I didn't mean to dodge there. I don't know why I dodged instead of clicking. That may be a mark that I'm tired, but I have only just woken up. A crystal remnant from the Searing. The ruthless Char used their magic to destroy much of human civilization. Their efforts were rebuffed by the people of Ascalon. King Adalbern remains in power, and the Char will soon be driven back. So this was clearly written by the humans back then, just as I guess the plaque by the statue of Badazar was also written by the humans. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's one of those things that kind of happened in Guild Wars 1 that I thought was so fantastic. Can I rush away? I guess I can, but I think I'm still slowed by Cripple. It's one of those things that happened in Guild Wars 1, as I was talking about before, that MMOs never really destroyed stuff on a wide scale, on a very big scale. They never really changed the world. You always felt like you were kind of protected, like nothing could seriously go wrong. But Guild Wars 1, kind of out of the gate, first showed you the nation of Ascalon when it was beautiful and charming and lovely. And then the Searing hits, and you move forward 2 years into the future, and everything's destroyed, and you can never go back. And that was what was so cool about what they'd done with that whole plot. And really, that was the first thing that scarred Ascalon, and I think kind of made, well no, the first thing that made this kind of rich as far as a setting is concerned was the fact that the wall was built. I mean, that alone was pretty cool, but then you had it all destroyed and all these crystals appeared, which just kind of enriched the setting so much more. And then you had something else that happened later on, which put all these ghosts everywhere, which I'll talk about later. And then you had the scar. It's just so, it's amazing. There is no other word to describe it other than rich, and I love it. That's why I think Ascalon's so good. It's got, I mean, other nations and other areas in Guild Wars still have a lot of history, but not so much that scars and marks the landscape. The only other one that really is kind of similar, if you ask me, is Ore. Ore's got a kind of a lot of stuff there that's very significant and kind of ties back to old events that were really, really cool, which I guess we'll look at as we go through. This is why Greatsword's so good, by the way, because it gives you might on your burst skill, but it also inflicts vulnerability on your auto attack. So you're doing extra damage through the might, and you're also doing extra damage through the vulnerability. It just all ties into itself. When I said it did the most damage, what I really meant was it has the most burst damage. That's kind of what I was talking about before, rather than, oh, it just does more. I'm sure there are other setups, and when you account for traits and stuff, it all gets a lot more complicated. In any case, where are we going? Well, now's as good a time as any to just do the recap. Operation Bulwark was the last thing we did that I haven't read. My warband went on our first big Legion operation, and as Legionnaire I led my warband to victory. We destroyed the Flame Legion rear guard, making their main force easy pickings for Ritlock and the Black Citadel defenders, which we never saw anything of. Maybe Iron Legion sees that, Ash Legion sees a little bit of it. I think this is the beginning of something big. Chapter 2. Oh wow, we got a lot of description here. I reported, and hold on, I don't want to walk away. Am I going there? No, I'm not going there. Where am I going? There's something I want to show you guys. Is it all the way up there? I think it's all the way up there. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I want to show. Maybe it's near that vista. We'll go north a little bit. It's something pretty cool that I kind of feel like I need to show while we're hanging around here, because it will become more significant later on, and I guess I could only show it later on, but I want people to be aware that these things exist. Yeah, there you go, there it is. Right, so just off in the distance here, when we started the game, we went into kind of a bit of an Ascalon ruin, right? Actually, hold on, am I wrong? No, it's got to be here. When the game started, it's got to be here. I think this is the little village nearby. Yeah, it's around that corner. When the game started, we were in a bit of a little Ascalon ruin or whatever. A catacomb or a tomb of some kind, right? Where Duke Baradin had been buried. Now, in Guild Wars 1, that you found out that... this is another thing that I guess in a weird way enriches the setting too. You found out that deep below pretty much all of Ascalon, a hell of a lot of Ascalon at the very least, was a seriously large complex of catacombs, right? The Ascalon catacombs. And they spanned a massive, massive distance under the ground. They're still here in Guild Wars 2. In fact, you can kind of consider them to have been the first dungeon as far as Guild Wars 1 is concerned, or the first dungeon in the whole franchise. You could go there before the Searing even hit, and then you couldn't go back after the Searing hit. For Guild Wars 2, the first dungeon we'll be able to do, which are kind of these very kind of important... Oh, a guild banner, this is awesome. Very important, very significant parts of the plot. You can go back in there. So this is the entrance to the Ascalon Catacombs. It kind of depresses me to see that no one stood out here. When the game first came out, there were tons of us here. So there's going to be a bit of a story to do with this later on where we'll go in there. It's a pretty fantastic place down there, and it will have something to do with Ritlock and some other characters we haven't necessarily met right now. But yeah, there's lots of these dungeons around the world. This is the first one we'll be going to, and it's the first one I get to show you in the overworld too, so just bear that in mind. There is another one in Queensdale, which I could have shown you, but since it wasn't the first one we were going to, I figured there was no point. There's a whole town in Queensdale I never showed you guys a while ago, and we'll get to that when we get to it. That will be the second dungeon that we end up going to. There's so much in Queensdale still that that's kind of cool. Like, I spent so long talking about Ascalon and all the cool shit here, but there is some cool stuff in Queensdale. But I think the best thing in Queensdale really is God's Lost Swamp, which we've already seen. So there is that. What was I saying? So yeah, the catacombs. What was I saying before the catacombs? Oh yeah, we were reading the recap. So yeah, we did the first quest from chapter 2 yesterday, searching for the truth. I reported to Tribune Ritlock Brimstone, who had an unusual mission for me. My sire, Clement Forktail, let's move this over here so we can see where we're going. Clement Forktail, a Flame Legion traitor, wants to turn himself in and share vital information. Clement will only turn himself in to me, so I'm going out to bring my father back for debriefing and Black Citadel justice. My sire, Clement Forktail, do we really have to clarify that again? Was waiting to turn himself into me, but their Flame Legion assassins tried to kill him before he could share what he knows. I don't know, I feel like he could have told us. My warband and I defeated the assassins and sent Forktail back to the Black Citadel to be interrogated. I spoke with my father, Clement Forktail, in the... This was clearly not written with, like, the full thing in mind. They clearly just wrote one bit and then didn't think and then... There's so much of that in this game. I spoke with my father, Clement Forktail, in the Black Citadel stockade. It's almost like Grenth's gone too far this year. He was eager to prove he's left the Flame Legion behind, and he told me how to contact the Flame Legion so I can continue my investigation. And indeed, we're contacting them all the way out here. Lamia Mai, I believe he even mentioned, which is now where we are. This kind of boggy area, which looks fantastic and lovely. I do like the bogs in Guild Wars. But we're going to be going slightly more to the south, and the star should be here. I know I kind of read that while we were running, and maybe we didn't take in the journey that much, but hey, we could be here for a very long time otherwise. There's that place down there called the Ascalon Basin 2, kind of cool, I guess. Would you like to continue your story? Stoking the flame. Hell yeah, I would. That is some cool concept art. Reva, are you here? Reva was like, she's not here. Oh, this is the first time she's not been here. Oh no, there she is. That's the second time I've thought she's not been here, but she actually is. Oh, and I thought those were the other members of my warband for a second, but they weren't. All right. Hey, Reva. You okay? Oh, what are your orders, boss? Hide yourselves. I'll draw the enemy out. When I strike, you back me up. Sure. Done. Okay, maybe I should have surveyed the area first, but I mean the map's pretty clear that we're just going to be going in this direction. Draw out the Flame Legion by burning their symbol into the ground. Oh, right, so it's going to be kind of a ritual to get them out. That's kind of cool. Okay, sure. Are you guys following me, or...? Oh, no, okay, right, yeah, because so they're hiding. Right, where did they go to hide, though? All the way back, or...? Concerning. I like the idea of this being some kind of cool ambush, but then again, we do kind of need information from these guys, so... Hopefully it won't be all that. Also, hopefully the scale aren't still chasing me. Let's just burn it. Oh wow, that symbol looks... I don't know whether I like that or I don't. It looks kind of weird. Okay, well they've came out apparently. Oh, there he is. That's kind of scary that they can just do that. Speak with Flame Legion, the Flame Legion agent, Aethin Skulltwister. Hold on, just let me kill this scale first, Skulltwister. Uno momento, my friend. It would be rude of me to speak to you with things nabbing at my heels, and possibly yours too. Let's just power ourselves up here. My burst skill didn't seem to give me any might there. That's kind of weird. Alright, okay, hello, Aethin. How's it going?
We've been expecting you, Cub, and watching you. Now that you're closer, I sense the family resemblance.
Oh, look at his eyes.
Are you a traitor, or a double traitor like your father? Convince me, Cub. Renounce your former legion and swear allegiance to Flame.
Slow down. Forktail said I'd retain my rank. I join as Legionnaire, or I don't join at all.
Not possible. Legionnaire Flarekin leads us, and he wants to know what you know about the Citadel's highest-ranking officers. His assassination ritual is ready to burn them alive in front of their own troops. You can help us, or you can burn too. What's it going to be?
If that's all you have for me, it's gonna be me killing you. Right now.
I am such a boss. I'm so cool.
I feel so great.
As long as he doesn't summon friends, he's just stood there letting me wail on him here, so that's a little bit concerning. Hey, and there's my friends. You know what I have just realised in that cutscene though? We only have brawlers here. They should be our warband. Why are they just brawlers? They should be our warband. Is that just because ArenaNet didn't have time to be like, oh, we'll actually put the actual characters that are relevant to your personal story in there? They're just going to put these random characters here that could be anyone or anything, and there's no explanation for where they came from. Wow, that was a remarkably easy quest. All we did was run here and kill one group. That's probably the quickest quest I've ever done. Now, there's no need for me to rush the entire journey here now, then, was there?
How it's done.
Also, we didn't really learn anything, did we? I wasn't expecting us to learn anything, Toshu. Oh, we finally got our first helmet. Cool, what do we want? Let's just go more vitality. I don't know why I'm stacking vitality of all things, but hey, I guess I just like the big numbers. Well, there we go. The mark's still there too. Question Forktail about Murgath Flarekin, sorry. Interesting. Okay, well, I guess that's the end of the personal story step. Shall we go back to the Black Citadel first, though? Because that was pretty quick. All the way to the core? Oh, no, I guess we're going back down. Right, okay. That only makes sense. I love on the concept art there that this thing here, this, like, pad, it's like a pilot's pad. Oh, I'd love to see actual, like, ships and stuff flying out and... you kind of see that a little bit later on, but you can always kind of tell it's pretty static. Now, one thing I used to get really excited about was when we first heard about the Kodan, who are this race of polar bear guys, right, that came to this area of the world, came to this continent even, by sailing on sanctuaries, these giant icebergs that they build towns on. And when I first heard about that, I was so excited by the idea that you could actually, well, back then, but I should just clarify, the game wasn't split. We didn't know that the game was split into little explorable areas. I just thought it was like one big flat open world, right? And with that in hand, I was kind of, can you hear that screeching? That's some like van or something outside my window. I thought it was going to be a big full world, and I was really excited by the idea of the icebergs like actually being able to float around and move and like be proper massive moving vehicles that, depending on the time of the day, would be in different locations and stuff. Of course, back then I was assuming we'd have a real day-night cycle, not one that just switches so quickly and then nobody cares about after a while. I just thought that would be so cool. Like, they're talking so much about the dynamic world, and that would just fit so perfectly, but it didn't happen in the end. Open sesame. Okay, I wish that screeching would stop. Hold on. Oh, all the windows are shut and it's still coming in. Oh, lame. Okay, find out what happens.
Whoa,
oh,
I heard you were back. Looks like this party turned violent.
I thought, you know what? That would have been so cool if that was that other prison person that was saying that instead of Reaver there. Holy shit. Oh, I love how there's like fire around the edges of the cage. That's so cool. Wow, so he broke out. Oh, my dad's a dick. What is this? Oh my god, and this guy over here broke out too. Oh no. What? Wait, so he just broke in here to kill the prisoner and then left? Holy titballs. What about, and this guy as well? Oh, this is quite ominous, and that one's empty. That is quite weird. Hey, oh, you're still alive. What have you seen? Wait, hold on. No, that's... You tell him, right? You tell him I didn't run. I may be a thief, but I'm not crazy. The safest place for me is inside one of these... What? This is the guy that's talking about like that... Seriously? What They're actually keeping up with this story. Do you remember we spoke to this guy before and he was like, oh, yeah, no, I've got to be in here. There's that girl, my accomplice or whatever. The safe, and he was saying that it was safe, and he's actually telling the truth. What is your story on what happened here? Flame Legion happened. Flash, flames, heat. When the warden showed up, they beat him and they busted open the cells. I hid and kept quiet, but they took the others with them. So it wasn't like my father breaking out, no. Who's that guy dead over there? Why didn't you fight? For one, I had no weapon. For two, I was sure they'd killed Seneca. And for three, there were more of them than there were of me. I was taught the soldiers got to survive to report back. Alright, sure. You are an interesting fellow. Okay, hold on. Right, let's get you up. Actually, we haven't spoken to Reaver, have we? I heard the words trouble and stockade along with your name, so here I am. Whose tail do you want me to kick, boss? You know, that's kind of weird about the personal story, how after every step they're like, they have to invent a reason for you to like leave other characters in your story and then meet up with them again inexplicably when you get to the next personal instance. That must have been so hard to write in all the time. Alright, okay, come on, get up. You're not dead, you're just down.
It was the Flame Legion. They came to bust out Forktail right after you left.
I knew you two were in cahoots.
This is your last warning, jailer. Watch how you talk to me. Now, did Forktail resist this breakout, or was he helping them?
I couldn't tell. They said they were going to kill him if he resisted, and he did, but they just knocked him out and carried him off. Your sire's a snake. I wouldn't put it past him to have staged the whole thing.
Why would he let himself be captured, put me onto their plan, and then break out? No. He was being straight with me, and they came to shut him up.
We need to find him. He mentioned a flame bunker in the Arkovian foothills. They may have taken him there.
Then that's where we'll go. He was your prisoner, so you have a stake in this. Meet me there.
Oh, okay. I guess we got a little bit of an extra ally. I don't know. I'm not convinced. My character seems to be convinced, but I'm not. Look how cool my sword is. That's awesome. I'm not convinced about this, really. Okay, let's speak to you again.
Rely on iron.
Don't wait for me, I need to secure the stock. See here, look, this is their reason why isn't he coming. But then I'm going after Fort Cage, sure. You're going after him, right? Nobody makes us look like the full warband. Do you think he did it on purpose? Either way, I'm bringing him back. I'll send word after I do. I don't know. This seems to... It's not the same story as if he's a Gladian, but it seems to be going in the same direction. You don't know whether you can trust your father. Like in the other one, he was a mesmer, right? And that alone kind of leads into the kind of personality he was and whether we should trust him or not. Very, very curious. Okay, I guess I'll see... Well, hold on. Let's have a look at where we actually need to be. I wouldn't be surprised if we leave the plains of Ashford now. And we do some personal story in the next area up. But on my previous character, I didn't do anything in the Diasa Plateau. Oh, yeah, we do. Here we go. Here we go. So, we're actually going to be going north now. Remember the Magic Academy I talked about a few episodes ago? Well, we're going to be going up there in Guild Wars 2, and we're going to be seeing what the Char are using it for and how it's held up. And then we're going to be going even further north than that, actually quite close to the mountains, which should be interesting. Okay, so I'm actually quite excited about this because I found my other character. I didn't do any personal story in the Diasa Plateau at all. Well, thanks very much for... Oh, God. Guild Wars just turned off. That's kind of weird. Hold on. I don't know what it recorded there. It would have recorded something, though. In any case, thank you very much for watching, guys. And I will see you next time. Have a good evening. My helmet looks so stupid. I'm turning that off.